A year ago, I walked across the stage, diploma in hand, with no idea what life after college would actually feel like. Now, it's been 365 days of figuring things out, so come along for this ride through my first year of post-grad life. This is more like a blog than a vlog since I didn't film everything, but still hope you guys enjoy it. So last summer, after settling into my new apartment in Chicago, I took one last trip to New York, a final hurrah with friends before stepping into full-time working life. Summer in New York just hits different. It's loud, it's lively, and somehow still peaceful in its own way. If you haven't been, I'd recommend Little Island. It's a floating island above the Hudson for the views, and the High Line along an old elevated train track for a scenic walk through the city. And of course, you can't miss the Soho area. There's a lot of vintage shops if you like that. And then we ran into this a cappella group on the street. There's just constant music and creativity going on in the city, which is what I like. And of course, how can I miss this Jellycat story? They make burgers for you, which is really cute. Sorry for the quick pace of the video, but for dinner we went to this Asian restaurant down at the Financial District, and it's pretty good. We also checked out some Times Square night view. So that's a wrap for the New York trip. Now back in Chicago, where I officially start my first full-time job. Our office also went through a complete overhaul during the summer, so it's looking extra nice. Shout out to whoever did the interior design. And then there's also a Sweetgreen outpost where you can order food beforehand. Our cafeteria is also pretty good, so I would go down there pretty often. Now, I have to buy some cute clothes to match the vibe of the office, and I would say 80% of them are from Aritzia. Also, look at this huge charcuterie board that they put out for a company's event. It's amazing. Now, this is around the September mark. I remember it was so congested because of this festival, but people were having a good time, which is all that matters. My boyfriend also visited me that week, and we went to this speakeasy behind a record shop. It has a very jazzy and homey vibe, which I like. My favorite way of having fun around the city is to explore different coffee shops, bars, and restaurants, and trying out different experiences like tufting, puppy yoga, rooftop cinema nights, you have it. Basically anything that adds a little spark to everyday life. Summer in Chicago also hits different, but in a totally different way from New York. It's more laid back, more chill, but there's always something going on. Food festivals, farmers markets, rooftop DJ nights, and even marathons weaving through the streets. And yet, here I am traveling again, this time back to Connecticut. I'm in a long-distance relationship, so my boyfriend and I take turns visiting each other every 2 or 3 weeks, which, let's be real, adds up really fast. And let's just say it's not easy at first, but it forces you to sit with your emotions, to learn how to spend time alone, and to let go of the urge to control everything. But honestly, I'm grateful for this chapter. Traveling back to campus after working full-time definitely hit me with a wave of nostalgia. Everything felt so familiar, but also everyone suddenly looked so young, even though I still look 18 myself. There's just something really calming and simple about the school environment, and it's a perfect getaway that recharges me even for just a weekend. You'll know autumn has arrived when pumpkins start popping up on every street corner. It's the perfect time to go to Six Flags Fright Fest. Now let me tell you, I used to be the person who swore I'd never go near a 360 roller coaster, but now I ride every coaster in the park. Honestly, it was just a leap of faith. The moment you go on that first upside down ride, your fear bubble will burst and you'll be like, wait, that was it? Then it becomes fun and even addictive. You know, the real fun at Fright Fest only begins after nightfall, but not gonna lie, it's kinda scary, especially the one with the real chainsaw got me sprinting. And to continue on with the spooky theme, people in my neighborhood go all in to decorate for Halloween. Also look at this fluffy dog on our way to this brunch place known for its bougie aesthetic. This brunch place is overhyped unless you want to take Instagram pictures. The food is kind of mid and overpriced. And surprisingly, there's also a furniture store upstairs, but the furnitures all look the same to me. So sorry for roasting this place too hard, but it is what it is. Also, to my fellow Chicagoans, mark your calendar for mid-October because that's when the city hosts the Architecture Open House. We went last year and it was so cool getting to explore buildings you normally never see inside. Speaking of October events, don't miss this doggy Halloween costume contest at the Museum of Contemporary Art's Sculpture Garden late October. I went last year as well, just as a spectator, and it was packed. People go all out for this. This was a full-on Titanic reenactment with the poor dog stuck in a sinking ship costume, looking like, please let me get out of here. There's also a beekeeper with a little parrot inside. How cute. Even this Tesla skeleton dog decided to attend the contest. For work, we only go into the office 3 days a week, and since I live nearby, I just walk there every morning. It's honestly one of my favorite parts of the day, getting to breathe in some fresh air, soak up the sunlight, and catch up on a good podcast. Our office building also does a ton of little events like giveaways and free meals every few weeks. That evening, I headed to a college reunion event. It's a great way to connect and meet new people post-grad. Afterwards, we went to this Guild Bar, which turns out to also be a speakeasy. I have to say, Chicago knows how to run a good restaurant. The ambiance is just next level. And speaking of unforgettable nights, this next one was a first for me. My very first NBA game. I'd been to a women NBA game before, but wow, the vibes are just completely different. It was the Boston Celtics versus the Chicago Bulls, and honestly, people love to roll their eyes at the Bulls, but they held up, at least in the very beginning. What surprised me was that every second there's just something going on for you to watch. It's honestly kind of overwhelming at first, but in the best way. If you've never been to an NBA game, I highly recommend it. And then came my first Chicago winter. Honestly, it wasn't as brutal as I expected. I was still walking to the office most days just fine, though let's be real, global warming probably had something to do with that. Winter's never been my favorite season, but I have to say, Chicago knows how to do Christmas. The lights, the markets, the music in the air, it all makes the cold a little more bearable. Plus, our company hosts a bunch of holiday events, which definitely adds to the festive spirit. Free buffet 2 times in a row, I'm not complaining. I took a little over a week off during Christmas, and this time was extra special because my parents were coming to visit me in the States. We decided to head down to Orlando together to visit Disney and Universal. I've actually been there before, but I really wanted to experience it with them, and I'd never seen the parks in the winter. Christmas can definitely feel especially lonely when your loved ones are nearby. For a lot of us international students or young professionals living abroad, that's one of the toughest parts, knowing that while the world around you is glowing with warmth and celebration, a part of you still feels far from home. But let the good times begin. As soon as we landed in Orlando, it felt like we were transported straight back to summer. Okay, maybe that's a little bit of exaggeration. It wasn't that hot, but compared to Chicago, it was basically tropical. It was such a fun contrast, celebrating Christmas in sunshine and palm trees, kind of like getting a little glimpse of what the holidays feel like for Australians. Our first stop was Hollywood Studios, the park with the most thrill rides. I loved the Star Wars section. If you ever get the chance to go, you have to try Rise of the Resistance, the Tower of Terror, and the Rock and Roller Coaster. Those rides are real fun. In the afternoon, we made our way to Magic Kingdom, mostly because my mom insisted we go for the parade, and it was awesome. At night, we dragged our tired bodies back to Magic Kingdom after a quick hotel nap because there was no way we're missing the Christmas fireworks. And I'm so glad we went. There's something about fireworks lighting up the castle with holiday music in the background that just makes you forget how exhausted you are. Pure magic. On our second day, I planned for us to visit Animal Kingdom and Epcot. Animal Kingdom is hands down my favorite park. There are literally animals just roaming around. It feels like part zoo, part jungle adventure. If you ever go, I highly recommend the Flight of Passage from Avatar, Expedition Everest, and of course, the safari ride. During our safari, this one stubborn rhino just stood in front of the car and refused to move. We were convinced he was being cheeky, probably holding up the line, hoping for more stacks. Smart little guy. Now, jumping ahead, Epcot felt massive. Easily the biggest park, at least in my opinion. It's made up of 2 huge circles with a giant lake in the middle, and by the end of the day, our feet definitely felt it. What's really cool is that it's designed like a mini World Expo. You can visit different country-themed sections, and each one is staffed with people actually from that country. By the end, my parents were full on whining about all the steps we'd taken. I think we hit our yearly step count in one day. But if there's one thing you have to do at Epcot, it's the Guardians of the Galaxy ride. It's creative, fast-paced, and honestly one of the most fun rides I've ever been on. And that's a wrap on the Disney portion of our trip. Next stop, Universal. Now, I'll admit the overall Universal experience slightly lacks behind Disney in terms of polish, but I'm absolutely obsessed with their Harry Potter and Jurassic World areas. I dragged my mom onto the Escape from Gringotts ride, and to my surprise, she totally survived it and walked off like it was no big deal. Iconic. There's also the Hogwarts Express that connects the two parks, and honestly, it's a really fun and immersive ride. Perfect if you're a Harry Potter fan. And for all the thrill seekers out there, you have to try the Velocicoaster in the Jurassic World section. Hands down, one of the best coaster designs I've ever experienced. Fast, intense, and just incredibly well done. Good times fly by way too fast, and just like that, we're back in Chicago. First stop though, Trader Joe's, because while China already has Walmart, Costco, and like that, there's still no Trader Joe's, and since my parents love a good supermarket run, they went all out, literally bought every chocolate bar on the shelf to bring home to friends. My apartment is also packed at this point. I pulled out the extra mattress. And finally, my long-awaited home-cooked meal. I can't even describe how happy that made me. The next day, I took them to Benihana, and they absolutely loved it. The chef was incredible, full of tricks and showmanship. Here's a little clip. Round of applause for his dedication and energy. Yeah, I was laughing way too much and wowing way too much here, so please bear with me. For dinner, my dad was craving steak, so we went to Bavette's, one of the most famous steakhouses in Chicago. The reservation system though, nearly impossible, gone in seconds. So we showed up right at opening around 4 p.m. and instead of waiting around, we headed to the Aritzia store on Magnificent Mile and did a little shopping haul. Call me the master of time management. But it was a short but sweet 2-week journey, and just like that, my parents headed back to China. Saying goodbye is never easy, and to cope with the post-visit blues, I spend the weekend hitting up coffee shops with friends. Sometimes it's the little things, a warm drink, good conversation, and a slow weekend that help you ease back into your rhythm again. Now tell me, how is it already Chinese New Year? This is the biggest holiday in China, basically our version of Christmas. It's a time for family reunions, big home-cooked meals, fireworks lighting up the sky, and of course, red envelopes filled with lucky money. There are also some fun north-south differences in how we celebrate. In the north, it's all about dumplings, but I'm from the south, so for us, rice cakes are the must-have. It's soft, sticky, a little sweet, and they taste like home. Even from far away, these traditions stay close to heart. And of course, how can we miss the doggy treatment? It's the best. And yes, I flew back to school again for another round of Chinese New Year celebrations. I still remember performing at this event as a freshman. And now, 5 years later, I'm back on the same stage. Later that night, we went to the cutest birthday potluck. It was one of those nights that just makes your heart feel warm and full. My manager's daughter is in the Girl Scouts, so of course I had to show my support, and just look at what she wrote on the card. It's the cutest thing ever. Seriously, how could anyone say no to that? And also that day after work, I went to my friend's apartment to study a little bit. I'm studying for my SIE exam, and thankfully I passed. And then that day is also Lantern Festival in China, so we had a little meal together. It's amazing. The Beginning of the year is just packed with festivals. Here comes Valentine's Day. This is the one holiday that only some of us celebrate. I'm in the celebrate camp. Since I'm in a long-distance relationship, my boyfriend Uber-eated me a huge Korean meal, and my friend also got me a free boba drink. Love you so much. And of course, a few weeks later, my boyfriend flew over for a belated Valentine's Day celebration. First stop though, Raising Cane's, which in my opinion is the best fast food chain. Their chicken tenders just hit different. Afterwards, we went to see the viral Chinese animated film Ne Zha about a boy born with a cursed destiny. Second stop though, Tufting. I've been eyeing this for the longest time and I finally got to try it. Not gonna lie, it's not easy at first, but once you get the hang of it, it actually becomes super satisfying. My boyfriend, on the other hand, let's just say the learning curve was still curving. What's really interesting about tufting is that you're actually working on the back of the rug, so the whole time I've been going back and forth to see what the other side looks like. Anyways, I loved my design and it will be a great accomplishment if you can guess what my boyfriend was going for. To wrap up the Valentine, I booked us a magic show experience at the Speakeasy Bar. It's hidden behind a washing machine shop and the interior is stunning. You feel intimate with the magician, but you also get to chat with the people around you. The vibe is just unmatched. I highly encourage you guys to check it out. It's called the Magic Lounge in Chicago. So anyways guys, that's the end of the vlog. I really hope that you enjoyed and come along with this journey with me. I'll see you guys in the next one.